there was a key moment when I knew that had to I absolutely had to, um, be a slide player, and it was listening to a track off of Rico Scott's album called which one was it? I think it was "Be in My World."
Okay.
Rico, after he after the Derek Trucks band broke up and became the Tedeschi Trucks band, Rico recorded an album called a solo album called "Be in My World," and there's this track called "Hear Me Now." It's an instrumental gospel track, and it was written by Mace Hibbard, a saxophone player from Atlanta. And Rico recorded that song, and Derek Trucks took a solo on it, and that really, really inspired me. And at that was a definitive moment where I was like set on a path.
Yeah.
So I was like, boom, here we go, because it's a straight up gospel song. It's straight up church,
Yeah.
right? And but so but that wasn't it. So fast forward a few years, I started playing with Bruce Hampton, and
Right.
at this point, I actually, so I was when I said I was playing like Allman Brothers stuff and like practicing my slide stuff. That's true, but I wasn't like gigging very much, and when I was
Yeah.
gigging, I wasn't playing slide on those gigs. I'm talking more like when I was jamming with friends
Right.
at like their fraternity house. I wasn't in the fraternity, but some of my friends were, and they would jam over there. So I was going wherever the jams were.
Yeah, absolutely.
So um, uh, so when I started playing with Bruce Hampton, he was like, he was nudging me to play the slide by way of, excuse me. I hope it's all right
Yeah.
if I drink coffee while I'm talking here
Oh, you're good.
for all the listeners at home. I'm, I, when I started playing with Bruce, he'd be like, "Hey, man, you know, uh, he would do this right here. He would like take his hand, and he would like he saw how to slide on. He would be like, "Hey, man, slide it, slide it." And I was like, "Oh, he's wanting me to play some slide." And then he would say, "Hey, I'm he would give me songs. Like we'd be on the in the van. He'd give me like kind of one song at a time, and it would be in a really passing moment. And I would write it down every time and go learn it. And he would say, "Hey, man, go learn this song, Irene Goodnight, Lead Belly, Willie Nelson." And so I'd go look up all those versions of that song.
Yeah.
And then he would say, "Hey, man, go look up Dust My Blues, Elmore James. We're going to play that." And so Elmore James, at that point, that was my assignment. So I was
Yeah.
now on an assignment. Elmore James is a one of the historical landmark in history slide players.
Right.
One of the first to be known for playing like electric slide.
Yeah. Huge
He
fan.
was a Yeah, he was a huge influence on like Dwayne Allman
Yeah.
and everyone who's influenced by Dwayne Allman, and Robert Johnson influenced him a lot, and he was in the Chicago blues scene, and he like it's not he's not the only, so like a lot of blues and slide, it gets sort of it gets pinned on one or two players, like
Right.
they influenced it. But I would say that that's not actually the case. There's like so much blues and there's so much really like black music
Yeah.
that has all of this language in it. It's just like a couple guys kind of get to take all the credit.
Right.
So like Elmore James gets a lot of credit for that original like sound of one, two, three, four. So I'm but when most people hear that, they think Elmore James, and most people learned that from Elmore James. But
Yeah,
it's not just Elmore James; it's a lot of different. That's like a very common blues thing, and a lot of gospel
right.
music might have that in there too. But Elmore James is he's definitely a huge influence too. So I started listening to Elmore James records, and there's a lot of the language that you hear on the Allman Brothers and everything that the Allman Brothers influence comes straight from Elmore James.